Jerry, how you doing? Kevin, what's up? Cindy Lou? Uh, Little announcement. There was some confusion today. My brother, younger brother, it's his 59th birthday today. And as always used to happen, uh, got a lot of people wishing me happy birthday today. So it's actually my brother Dale, who's also a member. Um, that used to happen a lot when we were kids. There was five of us. I had four younger brothers. All of our first names started with D. Dan, Don, Dean, Dale, and Darren, with E as our middle initials. So that led to a lot of confusion. Five of us in 8 years. Drove my mom crazy. Lisa, hello. Cheryl, how's it going? Linda, hello. New member. I'm going to talk a little bit about my new strategy. As far as trying to get new active members involved. Give it a couple of seconds here, guys, and we'll get started. Joan, how you doing? Okay, guys. Let's get started. Linda, hello. Linda and Linda. We got a couple more coming here. Mike, how's it going? Wow. Okay, guys, let's get started. Swampwatch. 12, 15, 19. Where am I going to start here? So I've had 5,000 friends on Facebook for a long time. And what I do is every couple of weeks, I probably go through my list, is usually the whole list, and I'll send invites to all my friends for the Watchman page. And I've been doing that now for months. And I've gotten a few people to come on board. But for the most part, they're not interested. Now, a lot of these are rodeo friends and people through the horse industry and the Western industry. I've got no hard feelings. But considering where we are in this process, what I've been doing the last 3 days is going through my list and culling out the people that aren't active. And basically my criteria, I've got a couple of criteria. Christian, patriot, Trump supporter. And on top of that, people who actively post. People who are actively in the fight. It's great to have people that support President Trump, but as a watchman, we have to take it one step further. If we're not out there posting every single day, we're not doing our jobs, because we're getting close to the end of this thing here. And not very many people are ready. Thank God President Trump's support is growing every single day. But there's a disconnect between people who support the president and really understand what's going on in the world today. And that's a dangerous situation, because it's going to leave a lot of people short. President Trump really can't tackle this right now because he's in the middle of the biggest fight the world's ever seen. The biggest, I think this is the final battle between good and evil. What's happening right now, globalists against patriots worldwide, I think it's Armageddon. Most people don't get it. Most analysts don't get it. You've got political analysts, social analysts, economic analysts. They're all missing the same thing. They're all trying to look at their particular fields in a vacuum, and you can't do that in today's world. The swamp draining is more about it's more about justice. It's more about cleaning up this evil. But it's going to have a horrific impact on the economy. The worldwide economy right now is on its last legs. There's days or weeks. And we've talked about this because we've also got the element of the deep state that will use the takedown of the economy as a weapon against President Trump. This is a mathematical certainty, guys. We've talked about it before. It's going to happen. The economy's coming down. Days or weeks. Look what's going on with the Fed. Look what's going on with the repo program. Look what's going on with the debt. I mean, China. China just had the first state-backed bond tank in over 20 years. That alone tomorrow could destroy the markets, because everybody thought, to say, as a matter of saving face, China would never allow that to happen unless we were at the end. And we're at the end, guys. It kills China to have a default in the bond market. Kills them. It's a matter of pride for them. We're at the end. Now that all the investors see that it's real and it can happen, because they've all said China will never default. Well, guess what? They just did. And it could be bad in the markets tomorrow, depending on the plunge protection team and how much money they want to throw at it. It really is irrelevant whether it's tomorrow or next week or the week after, the first week of January. It's coming pretty quick. We've got to be ready for it. And just because you support President Trump doesn't mean we're going to be ready. And we're talking about not only, so we've got the first ever worldwide economic collapse. We've got the draining of the swamp, meaning the Clintons, Bush, Obama, and then, most of the Bush administration is going to go. Cheney, Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, all going to go for treason. Most of the Obama administration is going to go. The whole list: Comey, Clapper, Mueller, Brennan, Rice, Holder, Yates, Stroke, Page. Or all of them are going. The FISA is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. The real pain is coming with Durham. And they know it. And they're already scrambling. The point I'm trying to make is we don't have much time left to wake a lot of people up. There's 320 million Americans here. Figure. Let's go high, and let's say 75% are ready, and there isn't 75%. There's a lot of people, millions. I'm guessing half the population, minimum, is unprepared. Average home has 3 days of food. Average store has 3 days of food. When this happens, the worst case scenario is martial law is declared. The grocery stores, the trucks aren't running. The power goes out. Possibly even no communications. They've talked about that in the case of martial law, that the only thing allowed, no mainstream media, basically just the president's alert system through our phones that they tested a few months ago. That's a big load on the government. If there's, 150 million people that need food and water, we got a lot of ground. It's a big country and a lot of people. The more of us that are prepared, the easier it's going to be for everybody. And we talk about this all the time. Extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin, some cash, Faraday bags, C60, colloidal silver, filtration devices. Everybody needs to go to a prepping site. We kind of cover the basics here. But you want to get extra. Everybody should have 6 months, 6 weeks minimum. 50-pound bags of rice, 50-pound bags of beans. Fill your empty milk jugs and soda containers with tap water. Don't wait, because it's close. If you can go to the store tomorrow and load up, do it. I'm going to post again the links to Coinbase, where you can buy Litecoin, and a couple of silver dealers where you can order silver. You can do this all online. Litecoin and silver. Physical silver, not paper. Anybody that has any questions, any new people coming in, message me if you have questions about Litecoin or silver, or how much to invest, what to do, any questions on prepping, or anything really about what's happening right now, because I know it's really confusing. It's magnitudes worse than what most people understand. Because not only do we have the swamp draining and the worldwide economy collapsing, first time in history, but we've got the satanic pedophilia being exposed. And that's going to be the real tough one. It's all tough. That's why I try to use 9/11 as a way to get people red-pilled, because it's a good first step. Once you understand that your elements in your government would murder 3,000 Americans to fit their agenda, and for the new people, 9/11 was mostly about creating a Pearl Harbor type event that would enrage the public so they could rally them up to destabilize the Middle East. And look what they did there. Destroyed virtually every country. Egypt, Libya, I mean, go through Syria. It's horrific what they did. And it was all about creating the refugee crisis so they could overload the EU and take it over, and that's what's happening there. And then we would be next. Once people understand that, it's a little bit easier to go to the next step, which is the pedophilia. It gets a little bit tougher when you get into the ritualistic abuse and the torture and the murder and the adrenochrome. I'm not going to get into it tonight too much. Anybody who has any questions can message me. You know, the rumored Hillary Clinton snuff video is 100% legit and real. And here's the deal, guys. Jeffrey Epstein ran a honeypot. He worked for the CIA and Mossad. They literally have thousands of hours of the most disgusting video ever recorded on the most powerful and the wealthiest people in the world. We're talking about presidents. We're talking about government officials, politicians, the royal family, judges. There's not newscasters. You wonder why a lot of these people were so against President Trump. It wasn't because they don't like him. It wasn't because he's not presidential. It's because they know what's coming. They know they need to take President Trump out or they're going down. The rumor is, you know, there's 535 members of Congress. Over 400 are going to be indicted on capital offenses, treason or murder. Over 400, they think. There are going to be hundreds that are executed. Cognitive dissonance is going to be rampant. So we're going to have a very dangerous environment with some possible civil unrest, rioting and looting, and huge epidemic levels of cognitive dissonance. And for those of you that don't know cognitive dissonance, it's when a person has a strongly held belief that is contradicted by reality or the facts. And what happens is they can't process it. It's like a computer freezing up. It's a horrible state to be in. If you got a family and you're out of food and you live in a city and you've got cognitive dissonance, it's not a good place to be. Knowledge in today's world is more important than it has ever been because it can literally be the difference between life and death. What you know right now can save your life and the lives of your family if you're dialed in. And it's not that hard. It's not rocket science, but it's tough information to get through, as we've talked about over and over again. Anyway, getting to my point, it's not time to sit back. It's time to be bold. It's time to speak out. It's time to scream at the top of your lungs to everybody you know. They might think you're crazy. That's okay. They've been calling me crazy for more than 5 years. It's okay. No hard feelings. I expect it. Trust me. In 3 months, anybody who thinks that of you is going to have a different opinion because they're going to understand what you're trying to do. I don't think you can call yourself a patriot or a Christian and not answer this call. Everybody that's here, everybody that hears this message, there's no excuse. And you're here for a reason, guys. The one thing I've learned on this journey is there's no accidents. The things that have happened over these past 5+ years, it's unexplainable. It doesn't make sense. But there's God is directing it. Just like God has his hand on President Trump, guiding and protecting him. Uh, you know, I was called to be a watchman 5 years ago. It's kind of a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but and it's on the past. You know, we've got the beautiful thing about what we've been doing is we probably have over 400 hours now of live chats on our page. Not all of them have been transferred to the website yet, but on the Watchman uh, Facebook page, we have over probably 400 hours of live chats now. So there's a lot of info there for people that want it. And plus all of the articles and videos we've got posted on my page and on the Watchman page. It saves you guys hundreds of hours in research and trying to figure out who are the right guys to listen to and who are the guys you want to avoid. I've pretty much cut through all of that, and we're putting out the guys who we know are consistently accurate, which is the most important thing right now. You know, God showed me the economic collapse. He showed me the swamp draining. He showed me the pedophilia being revealed. He showed me Litecoin. Showed me physical silver. Showed me carbon 60. The things that we're doing differently here, most channels or pages are doing a great job waking people up. But it's kind of, they're waking them up and then then that's it. You're awake. Fend for yourself. The problem is that there's a lot happening right now. A lot going to happen. We're going to see more change in the next couple of years than the last 500,000. Some of the things that are coming are amazing. And I know this sounds scary for most people. Everything that's happening has to happen. The economy has to collapse. These banks have been ripping us off for hundreds of years. The Federal Reserve is the biggest scam ever perpetrated on the American people. It's going. The system's going to get wiped out. Everything's going to get cleaned up. That's why cryptocurrencies are so important. And this satanic pedophilia is going to be wiped out. You know, people that are convicted of treason or murder are going to be executed. It's not a coincidence that Barr reinstated the federal death penalty a couple of months ago. It was for what's coming. Because they're not letting these people off. You murdered a child, you tortured a child to death, and you're going to be executed if you're convicted. If you committed treason against our country, you're going to be executed because they're going to send a message to everyone that this won't be tolerated. Anywhere in the world, you're seeing, and you've got to look, guys, because you're not going to see this on the mainstream. Well, when you look around the world is rising up. The EU, China, South America, I don't know, 15 countries plus. It's a great awakening. And it's more than just in the United States. This is a movement. I believe socialism's dead. I think Russia knows it's coming. 5 years, probably Russia's. I think there are going to be a lot of countries that go to constitutional. They're going to adopt. I think most countries will adopt our constitution or something similar. I think China's the same thing. 10 years max, I think. Just look what's going on in Hong Kong. I mean, there's 1 million people in Hong Kong protesting. And this economic collapse isn't going to help, especially China. And the countries that have globalist governments, which are most of the world, they're going to have a lot tougher time than we are. Because at least President Trump is working for us. And he's the perfect guy in that job right now. Because it's going to take someone who's forward thinking enough to have these ducks in a row, because there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. There could be civil unrest. There's going to be martial law probably. And he's got to keep the food structure on. If he can keep the power on and keep the grocery stores reasonably stocked, we'll get through this fine. The brunt of this is going to be on President Trump as far as how this goes, because so many people are going to be ill-prepared at best. From what God's shown me, I don't think we're going to be in a situation in America where, tens of thousands of people die. I think there could be some situations where you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, some civil unrest flares up and you get caught in the middle of it. Yeah, it might not go well. But if you can either remove yourself from the city, wherever that might be, friends, relatives in the country, whatever, or you're stocked enough where you don't have to leave and you've got weapons and plenty of ammo. Again, I don't think it's going to go worst case scenario. I think President Trump's on top of this. The rest of the world, maybe not so much. It's going to be tougher there. I think millions of people around the world could die through this. It's not going to be like 1929. In 1929, people don't realize this. Only 30% of the people in America were affected by the Great Depression. And around the world, it's probably less than 5%. There's no one in the world that's not going to be impacted by what's coming with the economy. And then when you throw in everything else, the swamp and the satanic pedophilia, it's going to rock the world. But what happens when all this is exposed? You're starting to see it right now. Schiff just had a town hall meeting a day or two ago in his territory in Southern California. He got shouted down in his own backyard in California. The world, and just think when the satanic pedophilia is exposed, and that even though there's a lot of Republicans involved, the brunt of it's going to fall on top of the Democrats. The Democratic Party's done. President Trump wins the 2020 election with 90% of the vote. The Democrats might not even be able to field a candidate, because I believe everybody that's running, pretty much everybody that's running right now on the Democratic side, is going to be indicted. Might be one or two people. The scope of this is unbelievable. People are not going to believe how deep these tentacles have gone. But you got to understand, this has been going on since 1947, as far as the infiltration of our government. We were this close to losing the whole thing. Hillary Clinton gets elected, there could have been millions die in America. I don't want to get into that whole story because that's pretty complex too, but we dodged that bullet. We don't have to worry about that. But there's a lot of stuff coming. And you got to be prepared for it. And listen, guys, it's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. We're heading to man's greatest age. On the heels of man's greatest accomplishment, which is destroying this evil that has ruled over us, I think, since Babylon. It's been around a long time, guys. But it's over. We're at the end. We just now have to play this out. And if you are paying attention to how fast this is going now, you're already seeing Comey backpedaling, Schiff backpedaling. Um, it's too late. They're caught. Schiff is trying to say, "Oh well, if I'd have known that the FBI was abusing their power, I would have never wrote that memo that basically exonerated him." He basically said they did nothing wrong. He went through step by step by step, whatever it was, a couple of months ago, right? Well, here's the funny thing. He got the same briefing that Nunes did, and Nunes, by me reading what Nunes was saying, although he couldn't come out and say it, was that it went all the way up to Obama. And that's what happened. Obama's going down for treason, guys. No question. This goes all the way to the top. And virtually all the top administrators in the Obama administration are going to have multiple treason charges. Because it's not just the FISA. It's Benghazi, it's Fast and Furious, it's Uranium One, it's 10X. The evidence is overwhelming. Not one of these people is going to escape justice. Q keeps saying they have it all. They really do have it all. Okay, let's see. So where I'm going with this is that's what I've been doing, is actually searching out patriots and Christians that are actively involved in the fight right now and getting them on board, because there's not much time left. So, and every single person makes a difference. And I'm telling you guys, you know how it was 6 months ago. We might get a couple of people a week and get them in and get them going and get them set up. It's several people a day now. And it's getting crazy busy, and it's only going to pick up from here, guys. So get your rest, because we're going to need it. Just let me make sure I covered everything. That I wanted to hit tonight. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's see what we got for questions. Yeah, people are really. This kind of surprised me. There are a lot of Democrats that are irate. I think they're so, because they feel like they've been made fools of. They trusted these people for 3 years now, lie after lie after lie, and now that's it. We're at the end. No more lies to tell. It's over, and they're going to pay dearly. Joan, how you doing? I'm doing good, Joan. Hanging in there. Trying to keep the blood pressure down. Well, here's the thing. The Democrats don't really want socialism. Jerry's saying the Democrats want socialism, and we want our Constitution. I don't think the Democrats really do want socialism. I think that's why we're seeing so much support jump to President over to the Trump train, because they really don't want socialism. You've got the extreme left, but that's not the majority, and that's why it's going to snap back. They're going to have a big whiplash here as far as support goes. And we're already seeing it. Yeah, we're definitely seeing Linda's talking about um, our posts being removed. I've had several of the live chats just disappear. They don't say anything. They don't say, you violate any content. They just remove it. And several posts too. That's all going to come to an end, guys. President Trump's about ready to drop the hammer, I think, on this censorship. Um, Eventually, he's going to seize all these companies. He will seize Google. He will seize Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Alphabet, all going down. Look at the executive order 1221/17. Allows the government to seize the assets of any corporation involved in human trafficking or corruption. That's basically all of them. Chad, how you doing? Mike brought more silver. Yeah, I don't know about the platinum, Mike. I'd stay with the silver, but at least it's something. It'll never go to zero. The Brits are calling, Mike's saying the Brits are calling Hillary the whore of Islam, which that's pretty fitting. Of course, that Obama, you could call Obama the same thing. Uh, that's one of the things Linda's saying that she believes God is helping President Trump. One of the things God showed me was that he is um, guiding President Trump and protecting him. President Trump's going to serve 2 terms. I mean, they've tried to assassinate him now. There's reports of like 11 or 12 assassination attempts, including one that Mike Pence is going to go down for. Conspiracy. So yeah, no question, God is guiding and protecting President Trump. Not a hair on his head is going to be harmed. Sandy, how you doing? Yeah. Everything that's hidden will be known, guys. President Trump's going to reveal everything. And here's the other thing, guys. It's not just all of the crime and corruption and manipulation that's going to be exposed. It's all the suppressed technology, all the hidden knowledge about our history. It's going to rock. That's going to rock the world. I mean, 0 point energy, they've got it. Cures for cancer, they've got it and have had it for 50 years, they say. Virtually every ailment, there's a cure for. But there's no money in cures. I'll tell you, that's what I'm saying. The scope of this, it really, everything's been manipulated. Everything to control us and to keep us down in our place by these globalists. That's the main thing here, guys. It's not a liberal conservative paradigm anymore. It's globalist versus patriots. When I first got into this, I was, trying to figure out people like McCain. You never cross party lines, especially on that level. We're talking about the President of the United States. This explains it because there are many Republicans, including the Bushes, who are involved in this. Bush 43 is going to be executed too. Michael, how you doing? Yeah, President Trump, he's not 1 step ahead. He's 10 steps ahead of these guys. He's running circles around them. Everything they do blows up in their face, and Trump does is golden. And I've admitted this early on. I never once publicly question President Trump, and I never will, because I knew it was important, no matter what, for us to support him 100%. There were a couple of times early on when I thought he made mistakes, and I just kind of bit my lip. And then, as it turned out, a couple of weeks later, it was the exact perfect thing to do. See, I don't have all the information he does. So there's going to be times when you see something happen and you think it's a mistake, but it's not really, because you don't understand what's behind the story. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes, guys. No problem, Michael. Glad you made it. Donna, how you doing? Laura, hello. Oh, there's a lot of Dems that have flipped, guys. They're all starting to sing now because I think they've all come to the realization that this is over. That there's nowhere for them to go except to cut the best deal they can. And they're not going to cut any deals. If you're guilty of a capital crime, you're not getting a deal. That's one of the reasons I think this went on so long. Because they've been trying to get deals. And President Trump isn't playing. Joan got some Litecoin. Good job, Joan. So just getting back to the economy a little bit, guys, for the new people. That's the thing that's a little bit different about the Watchmen is we just don't want to wake people up. We want to get them ready. And financially, the most important thing you can do, you got to have your assets out of the system. Everything's going to zero. Anything in paper, stocks, bonds, pension funds, retirements, bank accounts, annuities, all going to go to zero. You've got to have your assets out of the system. That means cryptocurrencies or precious metals. That means Litecoin, I believe they're going to be the number one return on investment of any asset in history is Litecoin. And then silver for your precious metal is going to outperform gold at least 8 times. Makes it easy. Don't wait. Get it tonight. You can do this all on the internet. As soon as I get off, I'm going to put up all the websites again in the comment sections of this live chat. Linda's asking about the impeachment. The impeachment's dead, for all practical purposes. In the Supreme Court, I think there's a chance the Supreme Court might throw it out. There were 2 articles of impeachment. One of them was obstruction of justice because President Trump's attorneys sought a legal remedy through the courts. And they tried to claim that because he went to the court, that was obstruction of justice. Well, the Supreme Court's going to hear the case. So that's pretty much thrown out. You can't charge someone with exercising their constitutional right. This whole thing is a joke. If it goes to the Senate, I think it could be dismissed, but I think they'll take a vote. They may not even hear witnesses. They may just take a vote right off the bat. This thing shouldn't last more than a couple of days in the Senate, a week tops. Is this over? And, never going to happen. And honestly, it's working to President Trump's advantage because it's exposing these people every day. More and more is coming out. Yeah, so no worries, guys. President's 100% clear. Cousin Bill, how's it going? Yeah, President Trump is going to be safe, guys. I sleep easy at night. I don't worry about that. I worry about everybody else. I worry about, the everyday Joe who doesn't see this coming and is having a hard time making ends meet right now. And those are the people that are going to be impacted the worst because they don't have, maybe don't have any food in the house. Think about that person. when you got maybe dinner in the house and the water's turned off and the power's off. It's not good. That's why it's so important to get in the game now, not wait. It's time. It's time to be bold, guys. We can't sit back. Um, just let me go over my notes one more time to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Again, anyone who's watching this tonight or tomorrow, whenever, has any questions, message me on anything, on what's going on around the world, with silver, with Litecoin. That's what I'm here for, guys. That's the other thing. We're not one of these pages or channels. I don't. There's no subscription here. I don't accept donations. I'm not selling anything. My rewards come down the road. I have to tell you, this has been one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And anybody that gets involved in this doesn't want to quit. Like I said, best thing I've ever done in my life. So get hooked. We need everybody we can right now sounding the alarm. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. Remember, fear not. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5. God bless.